Susan, Ted, Jean. This is Daphne, sitting here sloughing coffee at the dining room table, gazing at my beautiful tree, looking out the window. I see the snow falling so thick and hard. Vernon is out on the road somewhere in the truck, and of course I worry about him. I suppose the roads are slippery. I hope he can get back safely. I've lived with this worry for so many years now of him on the road and this kind of weather that I look forward to the day when he can retire and from that job. But that will be a while yet. I decided that I thought it would be fun to have this little Christmas visit with you. This afternoon I intend to go over to Mama's and see her tree and give her the opportunity to talk to you too and acknowledge your gifts and all that, whatever she wants to say. And then I had hoped that the pics could be down. Barbara is supposed to be home now. She was supposed to have arrived on Saturday. And, of course, Elizabeth is there. And they've always come down Christmas Day, every year for a visit. And then I had hoped that they could also greet you. But with this weather the way it is, I don't know. Maybe it will clear up, though, later on. Well, on Friday, the children had their little party at school, and then came right over here to help Grandma trim her tree. I thought they were old enough now to even be allowed to put on the fragile trimmings, and they did very nicely. Of course, Anne-Marie was here, sitting on needles and pins, worried that they'd break some of the trimmings. But I said, well, what of it? If a couple break, what of that? It's part of the Christmas is the trimming of the tree, one of the most important parts, I think. And I wanted them to have the chance to share that. So between frequent trips to the candy dish and all, why we got the tree trimmed by evening. And I think it's quite beautiful, as usual. Vernon is very particular when it comes to picking out a tree. Hardly anyone will do it, seems like. He's quite a perfectionist there. It's important to him. Sunday night, we attended the Christmas program at the Baptist Church, involving, of course, Michael and Shelley. Michael belongs to the youth choir, and Vernon was able to go to the first program that Mike and Shelley has been in. He was, for once, was free and here and could go. And he was so proud and happy to see them in the program. The youth choir is very good. It's consisted of about 12 children, 6 boys and 6 girls. And, of course, they're all young boys, so their voices are high and clear, and it was beautiful. And they sang very true and sweet, and they sang all the old familiar carols. Shelley was in a group, her Sunday school group or class, and they got up, of course, and they sang Away in the Manger and some other little Christmas piece, and then they each had a little piece to say. And, of course, we were a little embarrassed because she's in that stage now where when she's self-conscious or nervous, she giggles. And so did all the other girls. So they stood up there nudging each other with their elbows and giggling and covering their faces and tugging at their clothes. And, of course, we were just a little embarrassed, but there wasn't a thing we could do. And, of course, naturally, we thought Shelley looked the cutest of all. Marlon's mother and brother and niece also attended the program. So after it was over, we invited them over and had coffee and cookies here. His folks are really quite nice, and I enjoy having them. Due to the fact that Vernon had to work today, we decided to have our celebration Christmas Eve, which to me is the important part of Christmas anyway. And also due to the fact that the children are just about out of their minds by Christmas Eve, with under pressure to open their gifts. I decided on an early supper. So by superhuman efforts and all, I had the meal on by 6 o'clock sharp. My turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and cranberries and sweet potatoes and relishes, and Anne-Marie made a beautiful fruit salad. And then I had apple pie and pumpkin pie for dessert, and coffee, of course. And then we got the dishes all done up, so by 10 after 7, we could start opening our gifts. Meanwhile, Mother, who was sitting in the recliner, was almost as bad as the children, and told me that at home we always left the dishes Christmas Eve and did them the next day. Now, I really can't remember that. I do believe we always did our dishes, and then we opened our gifts. But however, I didn't argue. So anyhow, she was quite happy when we finally could gather around the tree and open our gifts. And then right now, before I forget, I want to thank you for the beautiful towel set. I'm going to put that up on the rack in the bathroom, the one that for display towels, and it's not going to be used the first 2 years anyway. And I'll have to make Brennan understand that. They're almost too beautiful to use. Goodness, thank you very much for them. Furthermore, they were very welcome, because when I can bring myself to use them, I'm going to need them. My towels all resemble cheesecloth almost now. Let's see now. Oh, yes, I have to tell you about the stocking cap. Mike does wear stocking caps. They are those little knit caps. All the boys wear them now. And he was delighted with his brand new one, because his other one has gotten to look rather used. And he came and showed it to me. He says, Grandma, he says, look at my new cap Mario gave me. But he says, I suppose I'd better take the bells off. Oh, I said, it's got bells on. Yeah, he said, I suppose I'd better take them off, though, because the boys will tease me. And then I'll have to rack them up. And I really don't like to do that. Did I mention the pictures you sent? I was delighted to get those pictures. It reminded me of what a wonderful time we had that day, being together and helping Mama celebrate her birthday. And we all looked very happy on it, and we were happy. Mama, that picture of Mama with Mitzi is just darling. And I thank you very much for remembering me and including me in your ordering pictures. What was I going to say? I have to remember that the tape goes on, even though I sit in and awe. This really seems strange today, being here by myself. I'm not going to pretend that I'm indulging in self-pity. I wouldn't want to be guilty of that, but it does seem funny not to have Gay here. This is the very first Christmas she's ever missed. And all this crazy talk about not being able to buy gas, and stuff, and gas stations closing, for holidays and so on, so people will stay home. Anyhow, they didn't dare chance it, because he had to be back to work. Ronnie had to be back to work tonight, so they didn't come. Anyhow, she called and told me they were going to give it up, and that be sure and include lefse on their Christmas box, because she just couldn't face Christmas without my lefse, so I sent along a couple of good-sized packages. And later then I got a letter from her stating that they'd opened the box, took the lefse out, and Stephen was just thrilled and demanded a piece with peanut butter on. Can you imagine anybody eating peanut butter on lefse? Ugh. She said the steward is walking now, and that they had to have a little tree on the desk, because he would have hauled a tree, she'd had one sitting on the floor, he'd have just hauled it over on himself. He's a big, heavy child and very strong. And, of course, getting around now and examining all the things that he had always wanted to get to. They had attended Stephen's kindergarten program, and had thought it was so much fun to see him in a school program for the first time. And then the parents were served coffee and cookies afterwards. And so, well, here I am at Mama's. I've been here about 4 hours, playing Scrabble and visiting and enjoying her fruit cake and lefse, and she has the house decorated up just beautifully. tree trimmed on the table here that Marlon had given her with little twinkle lights on. And she's got tinsel and reindeer on her television, and tinsel on the drapery and on the bookcases, and little trees of various sizes that she had made in school years ago, and set up on her shelves. And everything looks really Christmassy, and her fruitcake and lefse was absolutely delicious. At first she felt really satisfied over her telephone Christmas visit with you, and I was unable to persuade her to do any talking on this tape because she said later on she'd make a tape of her own. However, now she has decided that she will do a little visiting, mainly discussing some of the early Christmases out in Skyme. And I think that you'll enjoy hearing again the different fun times they had out there when she was little. Margie has just called and said they'll be down tomorrow. I guess the girls had dates tonight or something, so they didn't come down. But tomorrow, well, she hopes to get down, and then I hope to get Barbie and Lily too to say hello to you all, and of course Margie's looking forward to a little visit with you on this tape. I don't know what Mama's doing right now. She's gone with a flashlight, whatever she's investigating in the other part of the house, and the dogs are following her because they don't want to let her out of their sight. Anne Marie got them each a doggy toy, and they've been having a big time here with their new toys. Just like a pair of kids, actually. Well, here's Mama now.
And then she never went to school again.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kept the book, though, but she finally gave it to me.
Now, you were telling me about that first Christmas.
Oh,
remember? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first Christmas celebration we had out at Skyme, as far as I can remember, and I guess I remember it all right. Anyway, we went down there on the pond, and we had a great time. We'd had, I don't think we'd had anything to eat before we went, but when we came back, we took whatever there was left. The old folks hadn't taken quite everything. And the apples that Lydia had brought over were upstairs. Mother gave us each a slice of one apple. I don't remember what happened to the rest of the apples, but there must have been at least 6 or 7 in the bag. Mm-hmm. And that's all we ever saw. We never got a hold of any fresh fruit out there, you know. But in the summertime, there were a lot of blueberries and some wild strawberries and wild raspberries we could get a hold of, you know. So we did have that.
Tell about that ride that they had fixed up on the river.
Well, I don't know what you'd call it now. It was a sort of a whirligig. The big boys had made it, Andrew and Seaver Haugen, and had made it, and they had made a hole in the ice and put a strong post in there and then frozen it down, you know, so that it was absolutely secure. And then at the top, they had a kind of, some sort of a rigmarole. They had another pole they put in with a bolt and had oiled it so that they could go round and round. Then they had a place where they could walk, you know, they chopped steps in the ice, and room for two to go side by side. Mm-hmm. And of course that was just a short piece on the upper side that they pushed, so that then the long piece went way out, and there was a tiny little sled fastened to it, just barely so you could get on it and hang, you know. It wasn't made too secure because they had no such plans. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I know I got a ride on it, and they went, you know, they went with a comfortable pace at the top, but the outer edge was such a far distance out, you know, that it went so fast. Mm-hmm. Because it was so far away from where they were, you see. Then it was, it went about 100 times almost faster than they did. Anyway, we went whizzing around, and then what I found, I couldn't hang on any longer. I let out a yip, and they slowed down, let me off. But Emma and Johnny Lurkin, they wouldn't do that. They just kept going faster and faster, And the girls finally had to let go, and they went whizzing over the ice just like a bunch of wet mop rags. And whizzed up into the snow. But they thought that was just fun anyway. And the boys, of course, they were kind of mean, you know. They always were that way with the Lurkin girls, the Haugen boys were. I don't know what the reason for it was, but they were that way anyway. And anyhow, we stayed down there until we all got pretty cold, and then we went home. Alton had skates, and he was skating around. And Henry and Walter, I don't remember just what they did, but it was Seaver and Andrew and Elias Mosbeck that were doing all this mischief, making it go. But it was a lot of fun, though, while it lasted. Only later on it snowed so much that you couldn't use it. Well, anyway, the whole neighborhood was there then, and Mother led in singing Norwegian songs. There was one that I remember. Jeg så glad juletid, for da ble Jesus født. Da lyste stjerne sammen så, og englen sang så søt. And I am so glad each Christmas time, because then Jesus was born. Then the star shone like a sun, and the angel sang so sweetly. That's what it means. And then there's other verses, but then I don't remember them so well. Anyway, when I first taught school out at Wanaska, I taught the children to sing that song in Norwegian, and the parents were so pleased by that, because nobody else had ever bothered to use the Norwegian language, but I thought in a program it was all right. Well, the next celebration we had was in the schoolhouse. They built a log structure and plastered it, and one single floor of boards that shrank, so that when you dropped a pencil, you might as well wave goodbye, because it would go through the cracks.
What year was that? What year?
And we never saw it again. Well, anyway, when Christmas time came, Bessie Oswald was teaching. The year before, we just had 3-month school, and George Rasmussen taught that. And I was going to say, he first gave me a first-grade reader to read, and I was sort of insulted about it, because I had known how to read for a long time. And, of course, I really learned how to read, reading love stories that were in...
What year was that?
We went up there in 1904. And
1904.
And so this would be about 1905.
About 1905.
Yeah. Well, anyway, then I was going to say, he gave me a first-grade reader, and I didn't say anything, but I was kind of shy. But at noon hour, he went over to Paul Williams to get his dinner. And then I took I had the book. I still have this book here. And it's a fourth-grade reader, but it's altogether different from any fourth-grade reader you'd see nowadays. And I just can't find that poem here now. But I remember part of it. Anyway, I had the book, and I was standing there reading this poem. It was The Fight on the Pass of Del Mar. Gusty and raw was the morning, and a fog hung over the sea, and the gray mist rolling inland was torn by the mountain breeze. No sound was heard but the dashing of waves on the sandy bar, when Pablo of Santiago rode down to the Pass of Del Mar. And then it tells about another fellow, a herdsman from Morro, who had traveled the shore since dawn, and the blood was still red on his dagger. Good reason had he to be gone. And the fever was hot in his brain, and the thick misty wind from the headlands beat thick on his forehead in vain. And then when they met on this high, narrow pass, where they had to the high above the water, the one says to the other, back, and then the other one, not I, said the other in wrath. And then they quarreled there. And then when they struck at each other, and they fell off the mules, they each were riding a mule, and they both fell downward into the waves, and the riderless mules turned homeward from the fight on the pass of Del Mar.
What about the Christmas now that you celebrated in the school?
Yes, but I was going to tell you about this because I right away received a 6th grade reader.
Yeah, a 6th grade reader. Oh.
So you see, I did know how to read, absolutely. But anyway, the thing was that when Bessie came, she stayed at Mother's at Martin's place with us, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to sleep with her.
Oh yeah.
And Mother, I don't know. I think she just kind of tucked herself in with the boys, so as to make room for Bessie.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway. Of course, Mother went right along up with to Bessie to help her to have a program. I think Mother really enjoyed this very much in her deed herself, you know. And she helped Bessie, and I know we had some Norwegian songs and some English, and she helped Bessie practice, have the kids practice and everything. And so then when the time came, well, of course, you know, we first had to collect money to buy the treats. And that was Emma Lurkin and my duty. So we went to everyone, and I remember Potter gave us $1. And that was quite a bit.
That's
Some
a lot of
only
money.
gave 25 cents, and they had about 15 kids.
Oh yeah. Well, that figures. That's all they could afford.
But anyway, we
Lucky
took
to
what
get
we
25
got.
cents.
And I don't know how much we got. I can't remember that. But it wasn't much more than maybe $5 altogether. But anyway, and for that amount of money, we got a barrel of apples and nuts and candy and popcorn. And we made the popcorn balls at our house. Bessie and I was there to help, of course, and Mother was superintending the whole thing.
Right.
And having the time of her life, I believe, now that I look back.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah. And, well, you know, there was beautiful trimmings had to be bought for the tree, 2 out of this money. Mm-hmm. And Potter, he saw the angel on the top of the tree. And he asked Mother, he said, could I have that angel on the top of the tree? And he had given a whole $1, mind you. Mm-hmm. And Mother said, well, I'm sorry, but all those trimmings have to be kept carefully so as to be used again next year. And if we begin giving them away, we won't have anything next year. And, well, Potter, of course, agreed that then it shouldn't be taken. But afterwards, Mother thought, just think, she said, he gave a whole $1. And I refused to let him have that angel. I should have let him have it. Because the rest of nobody else gave that much. Well, anyway, he never got it. I don't know what became of the angel, but anyway, the next year, Bessie was there too. She taught there 2 or 3 years, and then Emma Larson taught there. And the kids were so mean, you know, they wouldn't practice. And at noon they ran out, and when she went to try to get them in, they wouldn't come in. And I got kind of sorry for Emma, although I was kind of mean too. I put a book on the floor, 2 books, one for each foot, and my feet on the books, you know, because it was cold. And we had to melt snow for drinking water. And Edwin Christensen said, can I lay in the stove? He said, oh yes, you can lay in the stove. I spoke up, but it's going to be kind of, you'll get all covered with ashes. You know, in Norwegian, they'd say, kan I ligga I stoven, which meant, can I put wood in the stove?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I knew what it meant, all right, but I was kind of nasty, and I enjoyed myself. And anyway, we had to go out, and when we wanted to drink of water, we had to get up and take the big tin dipper, which you could scratch your initials on it. It was covered with greasy dirt.
Oh,
And then we took that out the ways, and then filled it with snow and brought it in and let it melt on top of the stove until I could drink it. We had no drinking water other than that. Well, anyhow, then you say, well, what did you do to drink when before the snow fell? Well, there was a little muddy creek running through the kind of a draw there. We used to go over there and get some water sometimes. And nobody worried about water pollution or anything. It was full of rabbit turds, of course, but
well, they were clean.
they were healthy.
Healthy rabbits.
But nobody
Well,
paid any attention to the rabbit turd. Well, you know, there
Couldn't
were
have
so
hurt you
terribly
any.
many rabbits in the country at that time. Now you seldom see one. Well, anyway, I remember one time, then when Martin and all of us went up north to pick blueberries, and Martin, he fixed, we got water, and the mother made coffee, and we had lunch, and Mrs. Haugen was along too, and Mr. Haugen, and their boys and us, you know. That's the time that I saw the bear, you know, and I never let Martin know it was there, because he had his gun with him, and I didn't want the bear killed. But anyway, I thought it was Henry all the time, you know, picking along. Kind of, I could hear him, you know. I was chattering and talking, and then I asked him something and no answer, so I got kind of mad, and I got up and walked around to look, and here was a big bear sitting with mashed blueberries all over his snout. And I said, I thought you were Henry. And I backed up away. And the bear went the other way. I don't know what became of him, but I didn't go back there. I went to another place to pick. But I didn't go running to tell Martin, I'll tell you that.
No, he'd have taken care of it.
And then so we got finished with our lunch then, and then Martin says, don't you want another cup of coffee? He said to Mama. Well, I don't care if I do, she said. So he handed her the coffee pot, and it was practically empty. And he poured it out, and it was all full of rabbit turds in the bottom.
God.
And then Mother, she screamed, you know. She said, oh, Martin, she said, what in the world have you done? Well, he laughed so good, you know. And she says, oh, you just put them in right now, she said. They weren't in there before. She had no sense to know they'd have all been smashed up, you know. And so, of course, they had a big laugh about that.
Well,
And all these things happened while I was still at home before I went down to Wisconsin to go to school. And one of the things I remember, we all got piled into a sleigh. They put hay in it, and then we sat in on the hay and put blankets over us. All of us sat in the sleigh, and we went out to Randine to a dance. And as we were going along there, we always used to sing. My brothers all could sing, and the Haugens were all good singers too. Sarah and Henry, and all of them that were used to going along. So we were singing Jingle Bells or some such thing, and all that sudden the sleigh tipped over. That was Tori Lurkin's mules we had then. Alfred must have been driving, because the rest of us just had oxen at that time. And anyway, down over we went, and the boys had to get out and help us up out of the water. We were kind of all wadded up in snow and hay and blankets and so on, and then they had to write the thing. And of course that wasn't too difficult, for they were all grown-up young men at that time, might say. Anyway, then we proceeded on our way to the dance. We had to be picking the hay out of our clothes, and we got there. I remember the people out south there were bohemian, and they were real good dancers, though. There was one fellow there, especially good waltzer, that I always liked to dance with. But I wasn't in love with anybody, although Walter Spur imagined he was, and I remember a lot of things about Walter, but that all broke off in the spring. Of course, you know, Walter was an old singer. He couldn't sing, couldn't carry a tune. Of course, but he was a good dancer, though, certainly. And then there was a fellow named John Krunglebo. I've got his picture here somewhere. He was a swell dancer, a real good polka dancer. And Howard Rasmussen. And then there was Alfred Lurkin and Sieber Haugen and Henry Haugen, Carl Haugen, and Alton, of course. And Alton was always in love with somebody, but it didn't seem to ever culminate in anything important. But anyway, the girls all liked Alton. I remember Tora, the Riceland girls, Thora and Gina and Tilda and all them. They're all gone now, as far as I know. Every one of them are gone.
This is the morning of December 26th, and I noticed when I started the first side of the tape yesterday, I started talking too soon, and my Christmas greeting to all of you was rather cut off. I had meant to say Merry Christmas to Muriel, Kay, Susan, Ted, and Jean. So I'm saying it now. I called Ann this morning, and I guess she's had too much Christmas activity because she was laid up with a bad back. I had hoped to get her to come over and wish you Merry Christmas on this tape, but maybe she still can. I don't know. She's feeling pretty tough. The children, too, would like to greet you, so I'm just going to keep this tape around till I round everybody up. I just read a letter now from Joy, and it made me very happy to hear that she is going to try to buy a tape recorder also, and wishes to be able to exchange tapes, and I hope that she will record some piano music or organ music for me to keep, because that would be really dear to me. I've missed her playing, and it's been years since I've been able to hear her, so I sure hope that she can get this tape recorder. I had asked Ming if he would help her, but I haven't heard from him. But maybe he would.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Hi, Ted, and the whole family. This is Vern. How are you old deer slayer? How is your hunting going? I hear you take a guy along to shoot your deer for you now. Too bad you can't hit them. Well, I thought I would tell you a little about Fred and I's hunting in Canada. We went up 200 miles north of Baudette in Verlian Bay. We got 2 bucks and a bear. We went across a beaver dam about 200 feet wide hunting on the other side. We saw a bear eating plums under a tree, so Fred shot him. The bear took off. And then Fred, he was the other side of me there, closer. He shot again. Down the bear went. So we had to make a raft with 2 8-foot logs, one on each side, and tied the bear in the middle and floated him across this big beaver dam on the raft. I fell in and got wet, but we made it. We had to hire a tractor and a small trailer to go in 2 miles down a swamp road. We got him out of the swamp and to the car. It cost us 10 bucks, but then later on Fred took him home and made sausage down to Walker, Minnesota, out of the hindquarters of the bear. So he put some beef in it. It turned out pretty good. He sent me up some on links. The bear had weighed about 300 pounds. So that was a lot of fun. Then we tried to get a moose, but we were on the trail, steaming shit, but couldn't get to see one. So we stayed a week hunting up there. The weather got bad, so we took off for home. Then the next weekend, the season was on in Roseville here. I called Fred, and he came up and hunted with me at Roseville. We got a big buck and a big doe and a nice fawn, second morning of season. So we had a good hunt for this year anyway. Well, Ted, better come up some year, and I'll have to try and train you a little better how to shoot. So I'll be hearing from you, and let's hear from you on your hunting sometime.
Vernon, you forgot to mention one important thing up in Canada. You got a partridge. How come you left that out?
Hi, Ted, it's me again. I meant to tell you that I'm getting all set up for fishing out on the ice. I bought a new snowcat trailer the other day, and I had to put it all together. It's all come in parts and boxes. I use it to haul my fish shack out on the lake for fishing. You know what I did? I put red carpeting on the floor How about that for a fish house? I use a gas lantern for heat. Works real nice. And we play cards when the fish don't bite. We fish quite a bit. In Canada, north of Warroad, about 20 miles, we drive across the lake. It's about 16 inches thick now, the ice, but got to watch for open cracks on the ice at times. They have pretty good luck fishing in winter. More guys fishing now in winter than in the summertime. I got a couple deals here I want to tell you, Ted. I don't know if you've heard them or not, but did you hear about what they call three old maids riding on a bus? You don't know? They call them passengers. I hear one more here I got, Ted, I want to give you a little lingo on. Here's one more. What does a chicken hen say when she talks? What does a chicken hen say when she talks? Cluck, cluck, cluck. What does a rooster say when he talks? You don't know, huh? Any old cock will do.
Hi, Muriel. It's the afternoon of the 28th, and the pigs have finally arrived. 3 days late. Here's Margie. She'd like to give you a greeting.
Happy New Year, Muriel, and Ted, Susan, Kay, Jean, Janet, if she's there. We have been having ice storms here, and the highways have been terribly coated with ice and new snow. Rachel just slid off a stool. And it wasn't too good even today, but there was some bare highway, and so we showed up. We've been having a wonderful visit at home with the girls there. I mean, I have enjoyed them all together. And we've been staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning after our company's left, just talking. So it's really been quite a Christmas season. Girls, aren't you going to come and say hello to Aunt Muriel?
Aunt Muriel and Susan and Ted, I'd like to thank you for the nice Christmas toys that you gave Rachel. And a cute little dog that Susan gave her is just really darling. And by the way, Susan, you can write any time. I'd like to hear from you.
Or send a cassette.
Yeah, that would be fine too.
Because we're going to get a player too, because this is just an awful lot of fun. And none of us are great letter writers. Barbara and yes.
Come on, Christine.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Daphne. Muriel, thank you for those beautiful towels. They're just pure luxury. I hope you got the little. I hope you got the little memento I sent you. I wish it were more, but just something under your tree anyway. And I hope it got there. Elizabeth says we're going to paint the bathroom, and we are. We're going to get that horrid old green look off there, so the blues will be beautiful. She has blue furry set, and it looks crazy with the old green wall, so we're finally going to do it. That is, if we could ever do anything but babysit. You know how it is with little ones. You've got grandchildren of your own, and Rachel is at that stage now. She might be in it for quite a while, too. She's just climbing all the time, and we hate to get after her too much yet. She doesn't really understand. She got some new outfits. Her mother got her a Christmas dress, and I got her a woolly little 2-piece suit, thinking of the real cold weather that's coming now in January and February. And she got a slack suit from her mother. So besides the toys, she got new clothes too. I got wonderful perfume and things, and Colorland camera, Polaroid, from Fred and Pat, with 1 pack of film from the little children, and planters from Elizabeth, and more towels and bath oil from Daphne, and I got a cross from Joy, and another one that I got with Mama's money. Only the one from Mama is silver with blue turquoises, and the one from Joy is gold. So I can wear that with my green outfits. And I was very pleased with them both. And just lots of things like this. The main thing was having so much company at Christmas. Fred and Pat and the children were there ahead of time for a good weekend. And now then the girls. Kristen, come and say hello to Aunt Muriel if you haven't yet.
Can't you say Muriel?
Some people get so bashful over one of these things, but they'll get over it.
Kristen's very bashful. Hello, everyone. This is Barbara. We're trying to get Kristen to talk, but I don't think we're going to. Kristen and I came up last Saturday from Minneapolis with our little dog. We didn't have any car trouble. We usually do. The car broke down when we got here instead, which is better than halfway, as it usually does. I have a very good job down there. I work as a lumber salesman in a lumber yard. And we're managing fine. I get Social Security for Kristen now. So we're all right. I've been thinking of moving back to World. Chrissy wants to move back, and Mother and Elizabeth want us to too. I have gone around looking for work. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get a job here. We just feel more at home back in World. We're all very well. And is there anything you want to say, Chrissy? Okay, just a second.
Play and record.
This is Kristen. Thank you for the nice Christmas gifts.
Hi, this is Miss Barbara again. You wanted my address, Aunt Muriel. It's 3810 Liberty Lane, New Brighton, Minnesota. The zip code is 55112. So I hope you will write to me now. I really enjoyed your nice letter, and I plan to answer it as soon as I get back home. We're going back to Minneapolis Saturday. That will give me a couple days rest before I have to go back to work. And, of course, Christmas school starts on Tuesday, I guess it is. No, it'll be Wednesday. Yeah, that's right. Chrissy, do you want to say anything more now? Okay, fine. All right. Goodbye.
Well, this is January 2nd, the day after New Year's. We didn't do much over New Year's because it was the blame cold. New Year's Eve, it really snapped down cold. It got to be 43 degrees below zero that night. And everybody just kind of stayed inside trying to keep from freezing to death. I haven't seen anything of Mike and Shelley all week until finally today now. Michael came over and to have a little visit because tomorrow he goes back to school. Michael wants to say hello to you, Muriel. Sing another verse. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory sweet on heaven above, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah, Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. That was Michael singing for you. I'm afraid he got a little stage fright or whatever you want to call it, but it wasn't too bad. Now is going to wish you a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Muriel. Thank you for the red cap you gave me. I got a Holloway trailer from Penny, and then I got some clothes and
did you get some other toys too, Mike?
yes, I got a game of Trouble and Wobbly here. It walks by itself. You just put something on the end of it, and it zips away.
Oh,
It
you
just
put a
wobbles.
string on it and pull it, huh? And you got some construction kits, didn't you? Legos?
Yeah,
From Santa Claus?
two Legos.
Mm-hmm.
One from Grandma and then one from Santa.
Yeah.
And then, let's see now.
What was that long box you got from Penny? Was that the...
That was the Holloway trailer.
Oh, the Holloway trailer. Oh, I see. And you got the games?
Yeah, I got the Trouble game.
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, I got an orange from Santa.
You did?
And,
I suppose that's already eaten long ago.
yeah. It lasted for about a month.
Yeah. About a month? It hasn't been a month since Christmas.
No,
What's the matter
no,
with you?
about a
I think you are nervous talking to Muriel. You know, she's going to enjoy hearing this little bit of Christmas happiness from you. Can you think of anything else you got? Did you have a good time Christmas?
Yes, a very
Christmas
good
Eve
time.
Christmas Eve was at our place, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we had Christmas Day at our grandmother and grandfather's out in the farm.
At Butler's.
Yeah.
Did you get to ride on the snowcat?
Yeah, first each of us got a ride on the snowcat, and then Grandpa hitched up the autoboggan, and first he pulled it around the house a little to get the skis unthawed,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gave us all a ride in that.
Well, what is an autoboggan now? What's
Well,
that?
it's something like those kind of like cars with big propellers on, kind of.
Oh.
Only they don't have that. You pull it by this.
Is it like a big sled, you mean?
Yeah. Only it has a big roof and that.
Oh, well, what powers it, though?
You pull it with the snowcat.
Oh, it has a roof on it?
Yeah.
Well, where'd you get that thing?
He built it.
Oh, that must be a lot of fun. Were all your kids able to ride on it
Yeah.
together?
There could be 4 or 5 kids in there.
Oh, that must have been a lot of fun. Where did he take you then on the
He
ride?
took us into the wheat and oat fields.
Oh, how wonderful. Did he go very fast?
Oh yeah.
Was Mother worried?
No. Anyway, if it tipped
Oh,
over,
dear.
you wouldn't get hurt.
Oh, that was a wonderful adventure for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then if he, there was this bump, you know, he brought us over. The snow cat didn't do anything but the auto bargain, just rammed it.
Had he built that himself? You mean?
Yeah.
And the sleigh had wooden runners, did it?
No, he got skis from,
A snowcat?
yeah,
Old skis.
his old one.
Oh, how clever! Did he have that last year too? I never heard about it before.
I think he just built it this year. I
Oh,
think.
well, I hope you get to go out again and get a ride on it. Before winter's over.
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds
fun.
like a lot. I suppose Wanda and Dale rode too then.
Yeah, but Shelly couldn't because Mom didn't want her going outside.
Oh,
She
wasn't
had
that a
cold.
shame? She had to miss out on that too then. Well, that's the way it goes. And did you have a good dinner out there at Mabel's too, I suppose?
Oh yeah, we had potatoes and then ham and that with gravy over that,
Yeah.
and then we had a good dessert. It was pineapple in it, and it was real chopped fine, and
Mhm.
Jello, and inside that whipped cream.
You didn't
and
have
all
turkey
that.
though.
No.
You had turkey over at our place. You didn't need turkey again anyway. Yeah, well, that sounds like, and I suppose you got all nice gifts and stuff there too, huh?
Yeah, and then we tried going down this one hill, and I didn't like it much. It was a Calmanier hill.
Oh, a Calviner Hill. Oh, I don't think I would either, especially if the sleigh tipped over. Of course, I suppose it's all pretty frozen now.
Yeah, it had grass over it. It had grass over it, and then snow on top of
Oh,
that.
I see. Well, that cow manure would have done well to have been hauled out on the fields to enrich the fields. They'd have gotten better crops if they just pound up behind the barn, my
Well-
land.
It was quite a ways from the barn.
Oh, I wish I could get hold of some of that manure for my garden. Muriel, Mike is going to sing Jingle Bells now for you.
Dashing through the snow
In a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go,
laughing all the way.
bells on bobtail ring,
Making spirits bright.
fun
Fun flight and singing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh.
Hi, Shelley. Shelley just came in from school now, and she wants to say Happy New Year to you too, Muriel. Come on, Shelley. She's just sitting here grinning. Isn't this impossible? Say Happy New Year, Shelley. Shelley, did you have a nice Christmas?
Yes.
You did? What did you get from Santa Claus? Huh? Did you get that doll you wanted?
I got him for doll, but it's the same because it's so small.
It's a soft. Can it eat and drink and all that, or what? What does it do then? Just sit around there and get dusty, or what?
No,
Well, what do you do with it then? Can you tell me? Huh?
I play with it.
Oh.
She got to play around with it.
How are you and Snoopy getting along then?
Pretty good.
Oh, pretty good. What do you do with Snoopy?
I sleep with him.
Oh, you sleep with Snoopy. Snoopy was from Grandma and Grandpa for Christmas, of course. Every little girl has to own a Snoopy.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round and virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
Poor little Mike and Shelley. They're so scared of this machine. Oh, well, anyhow. It's fun to hear him sing. I can't get Ann to say anything. She's scared to death of the machine. She said she'd rather write to you. She certainly appreciated getting the cookbook and especially that picture. of you taken, over that good old familiar baked bean recipe. Gee, that's a cute picture. I wished I had one of them. Do you have any extras yet? 'Cause I would love to have one for my scrapbook. I just first I called Mama and had a good visit with her, and she had been to the clinic today for a checkup. She'd gotten pretty sick with sugar troubles again, diabetic troubles. I guess she had been buying candy bars and cookies, and at one time I had noticed in her grocery bag a big bag of bars, and I said, Mama, who'd you buy those bars for? And she said, well, the dogs like candy. Well, I didn't say anything, but I didn't see how two little dogs could do away with all those bars, but, well, anyhow. Then Lily had mentioned different times when she took Mama uptown that Mama bought cookies and candy bars and kind of tucked them away in her cupboard, saying that the dogs, like to have treats and so on, but kind of kidding herself, I guess. Anyhow, as it turned out, she has been helping the dogs with those candy bars, so after Christmas she got pretty sickly here and got weak, couldn't hardly get around and everything, so she ordered some patent medicine from the drugstore for her kidneys, and I said, I think you'd better just hie yourself to the doctor. Could be something else, And she kind of hedged around with it, but then she finally faced facts, and she called the clinic, and they wanted a specimen taken in, brought in immediately. And it was found that her sugar level had gotten alarmingly high again, and so she had to go in now for the blood test today. But in the meantime, he had sent additional medicine to her of a stronger variety, I guess. And then by swearing off sugar and starches just these few days, her condition has gotten better. So I think she'll be all right. But she said, it is tough. You get so hungry for good things, and then when you've got a weak mind along with it, it can get pretty bad. So she finally had admitted, after all the hints and so on, that she had helped the dogs with all those candy bars. I talked to Margie this evening, and she was a little alarmed. Don Inglis from Minneapolis had called today, and Lloyd had disappeared. Hazel had enlisted Don Inglis's help in trying to find Lloyd. He had disappeared on, it was either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. And they were worried about what had happened to him because he had recently, just a day or so before that, received a $3,000 check from Vernon Pick. And so they were wondering perhaps if he'd come up to Warroad to see Marge. Well, Marge hadn't seen anything of him. And so then he had called out to Vernon, who lives in Canada now. And I don't know, I suppose they'll start to search for him. But Margie said maybe he just took off to Nevada to see Muriel and Ted. He would be very apt to do that if he felt he had the money and wanted to get away for a while. So she isn't too alarmed yet. And of course, even though he's treated her rotten, she certainly doesn't want anything too bad to have happened to him, and neither do the rest of us. Well, Muriel, here's wishing you Happy New Year, and to all of you. And I'll hope to hear from you now. Maybe you'll have time to make a tape and send to me, huh? Bye-bye now.